morning everybody. So I'm now back in my studio at Woodland Mill, and last time you will have seen me create 4 mixed media pieces out in the woodland, which is the wood behind the mill here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to have a go at reconfiguring them in my sketchbook. So I'm going to do a bit of a review of the 4 of them, and then share with you the sort of approach I'm going to take to creating a reconfigured collage piece. Okay, so I have my 4 images here, and I've got them in the order that I did them in actually. So this is the first one, and what I quite like about it is the variety of mark making. So, and this is the orientation I did it in. So this was at the bottom and this was at the top. That becomes relevant a bit later. So I kind of like this variety of different sort of circly marks in different ways, and dotty and a bit more sort of wide and then much looser. And I kind of like this, and I also like the openness in this one as well. So there's quite a bit of white space, it's not too mushy, and there seems to be some sort of depth in it, so I'm quite liking that one. So that's one that's got some potential. So that's the first one. Second one, this one looks much more kind of mushy to me. There is some interesting marks, some variety of mark making, those and these things here, and then this sort of inky sort of splishy marks, and then the sort of interesting sort of circly marks and dots here. But I kind of think it's a lot more mushy, and there's not much sort of white space. There's not quite the same feeling as depth as the first one. So I kind of put that one to one side. This is the third one. And again, it's a little bit like the first one. There's 2 things about it I'm liking. I'm liking the variety of marks, and I'm liking the different white space elements within it and across it, which gives it a lot more sort of breathing space, and it gives it some depth as well. So I'm really liking the variety of marks again, the splashes, the big thick chunky marks I'm really liking against the more finer delicate sort of spidery lines. And again, the different variety of the circular marks I quite like, and I kind of quite like that bottom bit here, and there's a sense of depth as well. I quite like that, and I quite like the more definitive marks against the more sort of mergy marks that are less defined. So that's again one that I'm okay with. Finally, again, I'm not liking the kind of mushy, spludgy altogether-ness of this, and it's very uniform, although I'm going to be breaking it up. But what I do quite like about this one is some of these sort of marks here, these sort of dots that are overlapping, and you get a feeling of depth there. And I quite like this variety of linear marks that are different to each other, and there's a feeling of sort of depth there. And I kind of quite like some of this, but overall I think it's a bit sort of mergy, and I wouldn't want to use that as a sort of start point. So let's put those aside. These are the 2 that I am preferring as a start point, this one and this second one. So as ever, I'm using sea white as my sketchbook. It's unusual for me to use a ring bound, but it works when I'm not taking it out of the studio. So I've only just started this actually, so I've got a couple in here. So this is one I've done, and I kind of do it this sort of way. So I have the reformatted collage piece on that side, and then just some notes on the other side. So I've just got a couple in there. Anyway, so I'm going to work here, and in order to stick things down, I'm going to use gloss medium. Because that's what I use in my painting, so it kind of just makes sense to use the same. So I'll put that just to the side for now. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to start actually with this one, not the other one. So what I wanted to do first is to find, so I've turned it upside down because I just think that the stems and the verticals just look more interesting the other way round. So then I'll have to do some clever things with it to get it looking right. So I'll have to trim things off. So I've got my page. I'll do some trimming first, and then we'll be able to see where I'm at with it. so I'll fold that over. So I'm going to start. I don't really like any of this. This is all mucky and I'm not so bothered about any of that really. I quite like these curious stems, so I'm going to start with those, and I'm going to get going by taking some off and just seeing where it gets me. So here we go. So this is the way of doing it along a ruler edge. You get sometimes don't get a very neat line the way I do it, but it's not too bad. And I'm probably, so what I've got now is I've got everything sort of upside down, so I might just take some of that off and then I'll sort of start reinstating. So like that. So I've got a kind of more interesting stemming effects going on up there. So what I may actually do, let me just make sure I'm getting the right sort of size. So from about there. I do actually quite like quite a bit of this that I'm chopping off, so I'm just making sure I don't want to go the other way. No, I quite like the denseness of this, so I'm definitely going to do it that way around. Let me just get the book open now so that I can use this as a guide. So if I take it off from there, all is never lost, because of course this collage way you're going to be putting bits back on anyway. So I've decided I've trimmed this a little bit more, so I'm not got, because I'm going to be putting some additional things on. I don't want layers and layers of paper, so I've trimmed it a bit more because I know that I want to put some of the more sort of burnt sienna down there in some form. And I'm going to just get this stuck on. And what I'm also going to do, and I'll talk whilst I'm doing this, is I'm going to use, I'm just trying to sort of line it so the lines look like they work. Whoops. That's it. So I'm going to use another one of the ones that I didn't think was so good as a start point. I'm going to chop that one up so you can see there. And I'm going to use that for some base points. So for some base areas here. So I'm going to get my ruler again, and I'm quite interested in getting some of what was a base onto the base, if that makes any sense. Looking, you can kind of get carried away with this so I don't want to kind of overthink it any more than I have already overthought it. So yeah, quite liking that, and I might just leave that one there like that. What does that do? No. No, I think I'm liking it like that. So let's just get that stuck down, and then I'll show you the other one. I've been doing some work on the other one, and just going to finish that one off, and we can see where we are with that one as well. So that's very unusual. I've actually had to move location because it was too sunny where I was. So this is the other piece, and all I've done is I've trimmed and sort of focused in on the main bit that I want to use, and I've actually just stuck another strip along there. And that came from the one of the ones I wasn't using the main bit of. So I've actually turned this one upside down as well, and I actually prefer it in this orientation for whatever reason. It's just something about the lines. And what I'm playing around with at the moment is I just want to put this actually was originally on the bottom, which would have been up there somewhere on the original, and I actually still quite like it, and the colours are working quite well. I tried other bits and it didn't really work. So here are the two finished collage pieces. It is really a case of trial and error with these types of things, and some just work better than others. If you've enjoyed watching the video, please do subscribe to my channel, and it's always nice if you are able to comment and like if you feel like it. And thanks very much again for watching. Bye bye.